We have a couple of questions. Marina, we have one question. I have one question. Well, we have several questions actually regarding the airtight barrier.
Yes.
Marina?
Yes. Can you hear?
Yes.
Yeah, that was a question coming from Germany, and it's related to the problems that in Germany often they have with moisture on the cold side of the insulation. And the question was whether there are tests for the airtight barrier. I'm not sure if Peter or Thomas would like to share the Norwegian experience with this issue.
Two more, you can answer that first.
Well, I said earlier, a very important factor is to have high permeability of moisture of the outer layers. So you shouldn't really have condensation on the inside of the outer layer anyway. And if this outer layer is airtight or not, if the details are made according to schedule or not, is not really yield a leaky outside layer, so to speak. That will not help in any way.
Yes, but still you mentioned, Tormod, that there are still challenges with making sure that you don't neglect the barrier also.
Absolutely,
and,
yeah.
That could be a consequence which would be, could be problematic, of course.
There has been a recent study in SINTEF in Trondheim related to this, because there is interest amongst, let's say, architects about using very open, let's say, non-conventional types of wind barrier, which are very permeable. This study that was conducted concluded, if I remember right, that the ratio of the permeability of the inner barrier to the outer barrier should be 10 to 1. 1 to 10. The outer barrier, of course, should be 10 times more permeable than the inner barrier.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Then you're pretty safe.
So we're running out of time, but I suggest that we take questions until and schedule the end of the meeting for about 11:40, so we can answer the questions that have been submitted. So we have another question from Norway, I believe. No?
There was a question regarding Peter's presentation, and in particular one of his slides, which was the table with the leakage numbers from Stavanger. And the question is, Peter, could you provide some more details of a dwelling that has high leakage levels during the wind tie test compared to the after finish test?
In the reason for the difference?
Difference between the two, and an example of a dwelling that would have high leakage levels during the wind tie test compared to the after finish test.
Well, this is an issue that Tormod touched upon. The fact that you often observe a difference between the early stage test and the final test. And I said there are a number of things that you don't have full control over. That there can be a number of penetrations after the early wind tight stage test. The early wind stage test often has only the external wind, not the internal vapor barrier. So you do actually expect that once you've mounted the internal internal vapor barrier, the fire test should always have lower a leakage number because you have an additional barrier. But what we often see is that the opposite can actually occur, basically because there are penetrations through the facade for different things that they're at an early stage. Let's say outlet for a ventilation system, etc. When it comes to the airtights of the vapor barrier, experience tells us that it's very difficult to achieve better tightness with that than with the external wind barrier, because let's say when you have the junction between the floor and the internal wall, it's difficult to have continuity of this internal wind barrier. Have I answered the question?
Yeah, I believe you have, and actually there's one related question, I think, from Belgium this time regarding the fixing of tapes and seals at the outside, and depending on the weather conditions, what difficulties when you have to do that?
Well, I think he's pointing out an important factor that just has to be documented, and I think that's on the list of requirements for these different products is how are these products dependent on regulations? Like I have a good clear answer to it, but I think it is an important aspect.
And I think that, for instance, if you have snow or if you have rain or things like that during the construction, then it may be a little bit difficult to see the outer layer.
Absolutely.
Right.
And sure, it's a factor in itself.
Okay. Okay, we have still, I think, a few other questions. You mentioned this methodology for early testing, but do you have a written document at this time, or is it something that you have done through your training mostly? You have a step, written document. I think that Peter probably answered that question actually, but
it is derived in the SCEP project report that you can find on the Build Up website. There's maybe a paragraph or two about that measurement method.
Okay.
And I just would like to add, I think it is actually mentioned in the measurement standards for airtightness measurements. It's in the ISO standard, or it is in the EN standard. So,
I think the question was more regarding the early testing. Do you have some sort of methodology to explain to project owners or to designers or to craftsmen how this process is being developed during the construction process, or is it something that is still under development?
Well, the process is very similar to the ordinary airtightness measurement. The only thing that you have to keep in mind is what I mentioned. You have to use the end volume. The procedure is very simple. It's you just have the the building in the right stage, let's say. And of course, this is what is the critical part. It's where you are in a situation where all the wheels are placed in its positions and things like that. And but it's not detailed described as a special method. No.
Okay.
The suppliers of the equipment have passages in their documentation that says you have to do this and you have to do that, because this has come up as questions.
Okay, thank you very much. I think that there was another question about where you can find the information about the Hold Tight campaign and also Guru address. So this has been answered through the Q&A panel. You have the Guru's address and also the website where you can see the whole video. So if you go through the Q&A panel, you will find this information. Otherwise, you can always send an email to info@tightvan.eu in order to have so answer your questions if you have any regarding this campaign and regarding the contact that you would like to have with Guru. Again, I would like to thank very much our speakers because I think it was very informative to have this WebEx meeting. We had very interesting presentations from Guru with this interesting Hold Tight campaign, which I hope will inspire other countries and other organizations to conduct similar initiatives. We had also interesting presentations from Tumod and Peter showing how early testing was important, and also from Peter on future steps and what can be done in the future. And we see that there are many challenges, but that there are also many things that are going in the right direction. So we hope that such webinar is going to help going in this direction. And again, thank you very much to all the speakers, so Peter, Guru, and to for your very good presentations. Thank you, Alexander. Thank you, Marina, also for your support. And I would like also to thank very much all the attendees for their interest in this webinar. We will have a couple of other webinars in the next future. We are planning to have a similar session on the French initiatives with training in the near future. So, please stay tuned. Look at the Tightvan website or the ABC website, and you will find information about all the events. I should say also that we will have a workshop in March 28 and 29 in Brussels, which will focus on airtightness issues. It will be a one and a half day workshop, and again, please look up at our website to find the information for registration. Okay, thank you very much again for attention, and with this, I think we can close our webinar. Thank you very much, and bye-bye.